what is your take on AI dubbing? In all sorts of things in terms of quality. There's machine translation that we mentioned already. There's synthetic voices. So lots of controversial stuff going on. And I know there was this case of AI dubbed film in Germany recently. What's your take on this?
Well, my take is, first of all, what is AI dubbing? Right? I mean, it's like, for example, that film that got dubbed into German. It was advertised as fully AI dubbed. Now, the dubbing card at the end mentions, for example, a human dubbing scriptwriter. So it's not fully AI dubbed, right? The voices, how are they generated? How much of that is AI? How much is not? The producers have then went back a little bit on their claim and said, well, but a human had their hand in everything. Well, now is that an AI dub or not? So that's part of the problem, really, is that we don't know, and we don't know the human part or the non-human part. It's sort of like with this the movie that just came out, The Brutalist, where they apparently sort of with a program changed some of the
Hungarian
sounds.
accent, yeah.
Yeah. So is that AI dubbed? Is it not? I don't know. It's like you need to. That's the first part of the conversation that sort of needs to be made, and it's not being made because the AI dubbing companies are maybe for a reason quite secretive with what exactly they're doing.
Yeah, yeah. Everybody's using the term AI dubbing, right? They mean completely different things. Just I don't know, adjusting a little bit the clone voice in terms of the Hungarian dubbing, for instance, that you just mentioned, right? Or the fully automated pipeline where you'd have automatic speech recognition, machine translation, synthetic voices reading that out without any human intervention at all.
Yeah, and I would say to that, I would say that doesn't make any sense to me. It was created by a human. It's supposed to be viewed by a human. Why should it go through a machine? I'm missing something here. As I said, it comes from here. It needs to go here. And I would also very much be missing um, sort of that accountability by a human creative person because we have this humongous responsibility towards the original. Um, that is completely missing. Um,
Yeah,
I
maybe not
see it.
all content is sort of related from the heart. Maybe it's about I don't know, some quality tiers, or if you're doing some corporate training, maybe it doesn't really come
Yeah.
from the
But
heart.
a thought that I have is that we're talking here about dubbing in the context of entertainment, of productions which are art, which serve to entertain, which serve to uh, be felt by us as viewers. And there's other content that's not like us. But in the entertainment industry, I think the crucial thing is what you said earlier, that you're writing text that is there to be performed by an actor, by a human being. And the crucial question, I think, is can AI perform text? Or it just generates some audio? And of course, the creators of AI tools, they would say we can put emotions into it. They would obviously say this is getting better and better. But I think the crucial question is, can it perform? Because the actors perform the text that you've written, right? They
Yeah, and
act.
and can I well, they can't put emotions into it. They can imitate emotions, but they can't put emotions into it. I mean, I'm fine to, I'm fine with what they do. I just think the language that we use to talk about it is just sometimes plain wrong. Um, that's the one problem. But um, I think the other thing that's sort of going wrong in this discussion, and that's not quite what you asked, but what's going wrong in this discussion is this weird sense of authenticity. What is authentic? What is perfect? Um, Film is an illusion, right? You learn how to watch a film when you're a child. I don't have children of my own, but I've been in theaters where kids ran out because they got freaked out by something where I'm like, it's not real, but they have to learn that this is not real, right? We learn dubbing is the same way, right? We know it's not that's not it. That we know that these actors are not Germans. So is also an illusion. It's a trick, and it needs to work as a trick. It needs to sort of get that. The only thing that's actually has to be authentic is the emotions. They have to be authentic. in the audience. They have to have authentic emotions. And that's not even the same emotions, right? If you watch a movie about a serial killer, no one expects you to have the emotions of the serial killer, right? You have to have you have to have maybe, or like horror stuff, you're not supposed to have the same emotion that somebody has who gets their brain eaten alive, right? But you have to have that cathartic experience. That's why you watch a horror movie. So you have to have that authentic emotion. I think a mistake that's often made is that, um, as I said, a mistaken idea of authenticity, because let's say you probably can recreate Meryl Streep's voice perfectly. Not even her mom would be able to tell the difference. Yeah, you can. And maybe one day it's still not working at all, but maybe one day you can sort of change the face, and maybe also the gestures and everything else. Maybe you can do that. And then you'll have Meryl Streep speaking German like a German. How is that authentic? I know she doesn't speak German, and she's not a German. That's not authentic. That's just a different form of, sort of getting something across. We will never be able to solve the problem that we have different languages in the world. And why should we? It's silly. It's like, I don't care. Yes, we have translation is always a compromise. And the idea that it'll be perfect is just ludicrous to me. So we have a weird sense of a sort of a wrong sense of authenticity. Dubbing is and entertainment and the world and art is not about having a perfect thing, right? It's not about the perfect voice match, and it's not about the lips work. That's not what it's about. And so I think that's what's going wrong in this discussion. I have absolutely, for example, on The Brutalist, I haven't seen it, and I wouldn't be able to judge. I don't know Hungarian. I wouldn't know. I wouldn't be able to judge this. Which is one of the reasons why, by the way, why they're always doing this in languages that we don't know. But I I have no problem with using um, AI or anything as an actual tool. And if my goal is to have Adrian Brody speak Hungarian and it sounds perfectly like Hungarian, go ahead, do it. Why not say this out from the beginning, though? Why wait until somebody finds out? That in addition to everything else, is just dumb as a strategy, but it tells you something. Because yes, of course, you will have Adrian Brody speaking Hungarian. He's supposed to be Hungarian, and he speaks not perfect Hungarian. Yeah, that's not naturalistically real. As long as his performance and the script and the emotions it's supposed to evoke work, who cares? Like, yes, some Hungarians. And I'm sorry, but it's like, if you care, you care. But it's like, you watch Grey's Anatomy, all these glaring medical mistakes, one after the other. Our medical advisors, every episode, they're like, you can't do this. This doesn't work. You can't have this and this at the same time. It's like, who cares? We're all crying over Izzy losing her level. Fantastic, you know? So I don't understand this obsession with perfection and with naturalism and with a completely wrong idea of what's authentic. The only thing that needs to be authentic is my emotion when I watch something. That needs to be real. And I don't think that can be done. And I don't think ethically it should be done fully automatic. Because as an audience, I want to have someone that I can hold accountable if it doesn't work. And the German dub for this fully automatic AI film, it was just bad all around. I'm sorry. And I don't care. The script was bad. The sound mix was bad. It wasn't lip sync. It sounded like mechanical. It was just bad. And they call it Champions League. No, sorry, it's just not good. And a final word. I think I understand why, like economically, why all these companies say we can do this. They have an original, throw it in a machine, and out comes the dub in 50 different languages. I understand all that, but there would be so many places where AI programs or applications, whatever, could actually speed up the process, make it more efficient, and free time for me to think. Please write me an AI that does recaps. Huh, or in terms of like glossaries or formality tables, And that sounds simple, but it's not really formality tables in the sense of like Nurse X to Dr. Y, did they say do or Z in episode 101 when I'm in episode like 18th season, whatever. And in a dubbing script or in an as recorded script, you say who's speaking, but not to whom. So it's kind of difficult to figure out. Do that. There's plenty of places where I'm sure it can be put to fantastic use. But a fully dubbed, that's the other thing. It's like, what is AI dubbing? What is dubbing? Because I've seen plenty of things where they said, oh, this is an AI dub, and it's like, at the most, this is a voiceover. It has nothing to do with lip sync dubbing at all. So
exactly. Yeah. And I love how you said that there are so many areas in which we as creators, as creative professionals, we would love to get help from AI tools, and we're not getting that. So
I would love to get help, for example, in getting in earlier, and I'm sure AI could help with that also to have, because they're always saying like AI makes it faster. Yeah, I mean, I know, but one of the reasons why we're not so fast is because we get this stuff at the latest possible point, where I'm like, well, how often have I sat there and it's like everything's ready, I'm just waiting for the video. And I know it's there, but I don't get it for days, So, there's plenty of ways to speed things up. And I'm sure you could, with AI, sort of give us, for example, a much earlier version that's not finished yet, and then sort of have ways of adjusting it in the process. I'd be super happy if somebody did that, so we can get in earlier, do the research earlier. It's like, how many times have I like really scrambled to find out something that if I'd only known, 2 weeks ago, it would have been great, but I don't. So now I only have like a half-ass version. Sorry for my French, but because I didn't have the time.
Exactly. So you've raised so many important points that this important question: are you using AI at the right points in the workflow, in the right places? And then my takeaway is that you're saying that we have those AI companies that they need to make money, so they're offering us services, and they're offering us a solution to a problem that we in the entertainment industry don't really need, because it's not a problem to begin with. It's not something we need to solve. And
no, especially, but especially in terms of, if we look at the finances, it's just like what % of the original production is the dub, even worldwide? It's not even two figures. How much money do we make them? Half. So it's you could save some money, but it's like peanuts that you can save, and you give up an enormous amount, potentially give up an enormous amount of quality. And the other thing is that right now it's being said that AI dubbing can be faster and cheaper, but I have not seen anyone honestly tell me how much money it really was. Because I've talked to sound people, for example, in terms of like creating synthetic voices, how much work, human work, and how much time and effort and ultimately money you have to put into just making like 3 sentences sound great. So, yeah, things improve and the technology improves and everything, but is it worth investing in that part and not in other parts? It's like,
right. And there's a great risk, because I watched this trailer of this AI movie that you mentioned in Germany, and there was this long list of very negative comments from viewers. So what's the risk that producers are taking in terms of potentially lost income from people who will decide not to watch it?
If they know, because the problem is the way it is, we don't have labeling laws yet. And if you go into, it just said German dubbed. If you go to the movie theater website or whatever, it didn't say AI dubbed or whatever. It said that after in the dubbing card, to which somebody jumped up immediately and said, AI, I told you it was that bad. I told you it was AI. Like, that's just one reaction. Okay, fine. But I think definitely it's also sort of tricking the audience into something that they might not want. I think they should be, have the choice to say no. And also, if it's that much cheaper, do you think your movie tickets, I sort of would like to have it cheaper too. It was done cheaply, right? My subscription to a streaming service, can I get that for cheaper because you've done it all cheaper? No. So I think needs to be more of a discussion also with the audience, because they're the people that ultimately pay my rent, right? So